Now that the election is over, I can get back to some good old-fashioned investigative reporting. And fellas, you're in for a doozy. I've uncovered the largest corruption scandal in world history. That's right, world history. That's just the caliber of independent journalist I am. I am the only person on earth holding the bastards to account. This scandal involves money, pedos, and very conveniently, YouTubers far more popular than myself who I can clout chase off of. That's right, the Cold Ones Boys alcoholic beverage company Grog is nothing more than an illegal money laundering front for corrupt pedophile judges to hide their corrupt pedo money. Now, let's dig into the evidence I've uncovered that proves this gigantic conspiracy. Piece of evidence number 1. I sent this email to grog@gmail.com and I didn't get any response. Let's take a listen to what I sent. Dear Grog, can you advise me of how many pedophile judges drink your beverage? I'm guessing grog costs around $5 a can. If 1 million pedophile judges bought 2 cans of grog at least, that means you got $10 million from pedophile judges. Can you please inform me where this recently confirmed $10 million of pedophile judge money has gone? Yours sincerely, your friendly neighborhood citizen journalist, Jordan Shanks. By the way, that's my channel's new name, but your friendly neighborhood citizen journalist. Pretty schmick. But yeah, no response. So that's definitively proven that Chad is in Epstein's little black book. Exposed, give me money, PayPal or snail mail so we can continue this important work. Anyway, now that I've uncovered that corruption scandal, I have something to confess here. The reason I went to this extraordinary investigatory effort is to cover up the fact that what I just did to Chad, someone's currently doing the same thing to me. I'm currently on the receiving end of just as rigorous an expose myself by none other than Shane Dowling, Australia's foremost pedophile expert who runs an excellent investigative journalism outfit called Kangaroo Court of Australia. And he's uncovered something dark, that I was sued for defamation by the Deputy Premier of New South Wales and that I crowdfunded my defence. But where did the money that I crowdfunded to defend all these court cases brought against me go after I successfully defended these court cases against me? I mean, it couldn't have possibly have gone into paying lawyers. No, that would be too sensical. And in an insane world, sometimes the most insane man is the only sane man left. This story is one of the overwhelming examples where that is not true. Okay, just because people might not be in on the joke, Shane Dowling is an unlikely concoction of a man, equal parts crazy and boring. It's honestly impressive how he pulls that off. He's like if Alex Jones had a stroke. He's built a little bit of an online following by calling everything and everyone in Australia corrupt. He has a blog you might have seen called Kangaroo Court of Australia, and look, credit where it's due, for a while I found this amusing and it was expedient to use him sometimes in my videos, but basically that was like feeding a dog with rabies because it bit some of the people that pissed me off. Now it's my turn to be bitten, and so I have to address some of the mud that he's slicking my way, and that hasn't so much pissed me off, it's more like the good old days. I'm finding it expedient once again to use him in my videos. I think drama, even with old speds, always rates. And look at him. That MK Ultra victim stare is compelling, no?
They told me it was a dental clinic, but it was full of pedo judges who gave me LSD probes.
Oh yeah. And that's just a bit of lore I should explain so you get the cosmic joke that is this man. His bread and butter is basically calling judges pedophiles. That's his shtick. What an act. Now enjoy this video where I verbally joust with a mentally ill old man who runs a blog who calls everyone a corrupt pedophile. Look, Labor won, alright? What other content can I make? You voted for this, Australia. Since December, Shane Dowling has made numerous exposés about me, alerting the public to the fact that I've raised money. A fact that most people have known since 4 years ago, when I was publicly announcing that I was raising money to defend myself in a court case against multiple cases brought against me by the Deputy Premier John Barilaro and his allies in the New South Wales Police Force. In fact, if I recall, one of your most viewed videos ever, Shane, was you talking about Barilaro's case against me at the time, you fucking clout chaser. But I've fallen far in Shane's ever-vigilant eyes since the hallowed days of 2021 that I spent fighting Barilaro. Last year, I committed a kangaroo court sin, apparently, by criticising new media for being baselessly critical of everything for internet clout. Look, go watch this video now if you want some actually well thought out written content and context for this drama, but if you just want the Southern Hemisphere version of the Atri Hassan drama, except for it's not Israel-Palestine, it's your acid casualty uncle versus your total legend Giga Chad cuz, keep watching. That's right. I'm your Chad cousin. Actually, I don't know. Using Shane's level of investigative prowess, this could be an Israel-Palestine debate. After all, How do we know that Shane isn't taking money from Mossad? Ooh, just asking the questions that need to be asked. In December, Shane released his first damning video with some of the explosive allegations set against me. And like all his videos, it begins with him saying he's...
G'day, it's fugitive Australian journalist Shane Dowling. Fugitive.
Ooh, fugitive, eh? His words. Where's he hiding? A Tel Aviv sex palace? He hasn't said no. Let's hear what he has to say about me.
Friendly Geordies has decided to attack people, YouTubers, 36 he claims, roughly, that are critical of the Labor Party. So I've decided to return serve, and I've published an article on Sunday the 1st of December titled Labor Party Pays Friendly Geordies to Promote Labor Lies and Propaganda. And the article starts off, the Labor Party are using YouTuber Friendly Geordies with 1.35 million followers on YouTube, which averages about 250,000 views per video, to push Labor's propaganda. That's fine if Friendly Geordies, real name Jordan Shanks, wants to do that. But when he starts attacking independent media who expose Labor Party corruption, then a light needs to be shone on what Friendly Geordies and his team are really doing.
First off, let me just sincerely note how handsome Shane is, but too bad looks don't count for brains, because what a bimbo. You have to be really stupid or really transparent at least to immediately admit that you're just mudslinging because you're upset that I criticised your favourite influencers. He's like a BTS fan, but for BTN. Behind the News does seem to be something that he would be a fan of. It's about his comprehension level, endlessly slinging shit at anyone he perceives as even remotely critical of his favourite artists. I find this progression of events endlessly amusing because Shane's whole shtick is baselessly criticising everything, calling everything corrupt, and he has no problem with any of my polemics against a wide range of targets. Until I went after some of the more sloppy elements of online commentary. For Shane, that's the one institution that's above any debate or scrutiny. Political Instagram reel creators. Ooh, don't watch the watchers. And I say that he believes they're above any debate or scrutiny because this video hobby, like most of his content, wasn't addressing any of the points I raised. I'm going to go on stream after this and we'll go through his video and do what he could never do, which is respond to it in real time. His whole critique is just pretending over and over.
Friendly Geordies didn't say the thing he clearly said in the video, and if I don't show him saying the thing that he said in the video, I'm right in my own fuck mind.
The whole thing. It's selective dementia, the channel. It's like all of Shane's work. Actually, like all the best parts of Shane's work, a lot of it is just him saying,
he's a pedo.
As you'll soon see, it's just maliciously and very poorly repackaging of very public information to try and conjure some corruption scandal out of thin air. I mean, maybe he thought the video was targeting him, but I think that would be even too delusional for Shane. No one watches you unless you're talking about me, Shane.
Friendly Geordies published a video about a month ago titled Whinge Merchants, and he spends 52 minutes having a crack at about 36 YouTubers who have the audacity to shine a light on Labor Party lies and corruption. What Whinge Merchant Jordan doesn't say in his 52-minute rant is that he has made millions of dollars from Labor Party supporters over the last few years, since the start of his battle with former New South Wales Deputy Premier John Barilaro. Friendly Geordies' Patreon supporters grew rapidly from approximately 1,500 to around 5,000 supporters during his battle with John Barilaro. And then there's also over $1 million Jordan raised for legal fees for his defamation defence against John Barilaro. And I wonder where that ended up.
So now the money I raised, that you guys donated so I could defend myself against the Barilaro Brigade, the very money which Shane celebrated at the time, is now a corrupt donation from corrupt Labor Party pedophiles, and no one knows where it's gone. And now my Patreon, which you can subscribe to for exclusive content right now, by the way, that's just a funnel for dirty Labor Party money. Okay. See, this is why doing a video on this man is superfluous. Shane's points are so dumb that I don't even feel the need to address them. Like, having a public place to donate to a media creator means said media creator is corrupt. Well, Shane, I'll get back to this, but you better hope you don't have any donation portals or web stores for me to investigate.
And I'm 100% crowdfunded from viewers like yourself, so please support my Patreon account or PayPal account. You can donate them out, $3, $5, $10, $15, $20, $30, $40, $50 a month, whatever suits your budget. It all helps out in a big way.
That is in the same video that he chastises me for putting in a Patreon call out, just so you understand the level of brain melt we're dealing with here. I guess what this mudslinging kind of does, though, if we're going to be philosophical about it, it does shut down debate, because Shane can't debate on the facts, or even, unlike some of the other parts of the new media that I was critiquing, articulate a half-salient disagreement of opinion. Look at him. He can't even spell my name right. It's hard to articulate how really fucking dumb this man is. Like, from here the video is just an endless slide into perpetual dumbness. I have to skip through most of it because, as you can see, this is just the unscripted ramblings of some pensioner on the Gold Coast with a really off-putting speech impediment. But I'll find the best bits.
How does Geordie know Kevin Rudd remembers the dark days of Queensland well? Because Kevin Rudd helped script the video, of course.
Okay, this is just to give you another idea of how fucking insane Shane is. In my original video, I talk about former Queensland Premier Joh Bjelke-Petersen, basically Australia's poster child for corruption. I talk about how Queensland Labor's campaign, led by former Labor Premier Wayne Goss, was to clean up Queensland after decades of National Party rule. And I mention Kevin Rudd, who was Wayne Goss's chief of staff. Ergo, to Shane, Kevin Rudd scripted my video because he was fucking mentioned. I would be a hack to use the Charlie Day Pepe Sylvia meme right now, but it also wouldn't work because it's not even close to being representative of how sloppy and nonchalantly conspiratorial Shane is.
And obviously, passed me while I was thinking about Michael Jackson. It's highly likely that Michael Jackson was reincarnated as that ibis and he's hanging around playgrounds to perv on kids.
I mean, if Shane was remotely familiar with my work, actually he is, he's a former fan, so scratch that. If Shane had half the pattern recognition capabilities of a chimp, he would know that if Kevin Rudd scripted one of my videos, I wouldn't be hiding that shit, dude. I would love that. In fact, offers as open as my fly is here, Kevin. Come write one. But I've read Kevin Rudd's 2 600-page biographies. I've read his 2 books on China. If you think he scripted my Whinge Merchants video, would it be an hour? Come on, it'd be a 12-part series and contain sentences like, the substantial increase of multilateralism in the online political content creator ecosystem, I would argue, has led to a declining standard of the core conceptual architecture of which Australian politics is analysed. A decline that I believe is unlikely to be countered by any way of detailed programmatic specificity. And then I'd do my once-over on it. Yeah, that's all good, Kevin, mate, but just say at the end of that. Anyway, back in December, I did a little impromptu response to Shane's first video because that man is the exact reason that defamation laws exist. He tried to resurrect the old, baseless lie that I'm paid by Labor, which I've always found offensive, as money can't buy the kind of sycophancy that I offer to the Labor Party. Like, you think Big Justice is anywhere near as enthused about Feastables as I am Simon Crean? Fuck off. But in my response, I did, I guess, my own investigation, if you will, where I found out that Shane was a confirmed corrupt pedo. Source? Don't worry about it. Shane certainly doesn't. What he is saying is that I have a Patreon and people that have voted Labor in the past probably donate to that Patreon, therefore I am a Labor shill. Shane, I've noticed that you have a PayPal and a Patreon, mate. So by your logic, I mean, you've got a couple of thousand people that watch you routinely. I'm sure that there are some very bad people that have donated to you in the past. I would go as far as to suggest that some of them might even be pedophiles and corrupt. So therefore, Shane Dowling is funded by corrupt pedophiles, and because he doesn't go to the authorities with this probable knowledge, Shane Dowling is a corrupt pedophile. But my response only seems to have reached Shane months later. Now, to be fair, it was around Christmas break, and I hear Little St. James has bad internet, but this response has given Shane a little shit on the liver, as my lawyers got sent this insane email from him in April. I don't even have to read it out because Shane did me the favour of releasing yet another video where he just reads out his written crash out to his audience.
Now, I've just sent an email to Jordan Shank's lawyers, and I'll read that out to you as it tells the story so far. And I sent the email on Wednesday, the 16th of April, 2025.
Okay, I think we can 1.5 this shit.
Dear Mark Davis, XD Law and Advocacy, your client, Jordan Shanks, my co-vener, aka Friendly Geordies, raised over $1 million on the pretense of using the money for legal fees for his defence of defamation proceedings instituted by John Barilaro. It raises the below questions. Question 1, the Sydney Morning Herald reported on the 15th of July, 2021, Sydney law firm, Jennifer Davis, which is defending Shanks, my co-vener, announced it had been deposited $1,060,300 ahead of the legal battle. And the question I asked, was the money deposited into your law firm's trust or another bank account?
See? Behold, the true skill of Shane Dowling. The only man that could be this simultaneously insane and boring. I'll answer it though, even though there's no fucking point because as usual, you're just pretending something that we already said wasn't said, in fact, was actively hidden from the public. But we raised that $1 million in like a few weeks. We didn't expect to raise nearly that much. And when we realised how much money came in, we announced it and stopped raising money. As for the cash being deposited into a trust, it was publicly confirmed by my lawyers at the time, you idiot. Like, why would you risk your quote-unquote credibility on such an easily provable, painfully public point? Why? This is just not a controversy. The remaining money is still in the trust. It's gone down significantly since the defamation case because if you watch my videos, which I know you do, Shane, you probably should have mentioned that since 2021, I've been taken to court by the New South Wales Police for contempt, stared down more prosecutions from the Fixated Persons Unit, and faced a different private criminal prosecution from the gambling lobby for contempt. Oh, and also in that time, my fucking house got burnt down by organised crime. So yeah, safe to say, I've had a few legal issues, you dumb cunt. You've really got nothing here, Shane. Like, I know you represent yourself in court and lose all the time, so you probably don't have any idea how much it costs to pay for lawyers that actually give out good advice and win cases, but it ain't cheap. That being said, I've still got cash at the legal trust and I haven't raised any money for all the legal assaults I've faced in the 4 years since raising the original amount. Thank you for everybody who donated to it. It was greatly appreciated. Shane's argument, this is how dense he is. He hasn't seen me personally spend the money, so the only conclusion he could possibly draw is that it was spent on a bunch of eyes wide shut parties to appease pedo judges. He's just insanely dishonest, because back when Shane liked me and would positively clout chase off of me, he made a video celebrating that we used some of the legal fund to help the cameraman who Barilaro assaulted take Barilaro to court to get some cash to fix his camera.
Yeah, I put in the title that it's a win for Friendly Geordies because Friendly Geordies apparently funded it, which would piss John Barilaro off in a major way.
You had no issue with that legal fund before I criticised your favourite YouTuber, Shane. You are developmentally a child. Now that we've clarified that, let's get to the really fun part of Shane's whinge.
I published an article and video on the 1st of December 2024 titled Labor Party Pays Friendly Geordies to Promote Labor Lies and Propaganda in response to Jordan Shank's Whinge Merchants video. Friendly Geordies responded with another video on Monday the 2nd of December 2024 titled These Journalists Attacked Me. Where are they now? I wasn't aware Jordan Shanks had posted a new video attacking me, but I started getting messages in the comment section of my YouTube channel asking why am I being paid by pedophiles and calling me a crop pedophile. I was notified that there was a post on Friendly Geordies Reddit supporters page with the heading Shane Dowling is a crop pedophile. I joined the Friendly Geordies Reddit supporters page so I could ask the moderators to take it down. They refused, blocked me, and then posted my request for them to take it down. The moderator said in a comment that Friendly Geordies says I am a crop pedophile in his video, so that makes it okay for them to post it. The moderator who posted it even says in the post that he doesn't care about being sued for defamation. I watched the video, and Shanks does not mention or address where the $1 million he raised for legal fees went, which I raised in my video and article. But Shanks spends a long time denying being paid by the Labor Party for the propaganda he pushes on Labor's behalf. Shanks then spends about half the video attacking me and says that I'm a confirmed corrupt pedophile because that is what I accuse everyone else of being. And later in the video, Shanks says me claiming he's paid by the Labor Party is like saying someone of my followers might be pedophiles and corrupt, and therefore I'm funded by corrupt pedophiles, and therefore I'm a corrupt pedophile for not going to the police. Jordan Shanks' video was clearly using a carriage service to menace, harass, and or offend, which Shanks designed it to do, and encouraged his supporters to attack me after he published the article. As a law firm, I'm sure you would know that this is in breach of the Criminal Code Act 1995, Section 474.17, using a carriage service to menace, harass, or cause offence.
This is your brave independent journalist whinging about being called a pedo on Reddit and then basically saying I should face criminal charges because of Reddit posts I didn't do. Ooh, be careful what you wish for, Shane. If police charge me because Reddit called you a corrupt pedo, I might just be able to raise another $1 million from corrupt pedo money to fight those charges. And would that just burn? All to be let off by yet another corrupt pedo judge. The irony. And guess what? He threatened the Reddit with legal action over this. Naturally, the video gets stupider.
I published a tweet about Anthony Albanese on the 18th of November 2024, which says, all sides of politics have been happy to grovel to Alan Jones, even though they all knew he was a sexual predator. The picture is from the 9th of the 5th, 2022, just before the federal election when Albanese was chasing votes. Grace Tame was not impressed, as per he, and I have a link to an article where Grace Tame is very critical of it. My question is, was my message posted on Twitter part of Jordan Shanks' Labor Party's motivation for the attack on me?
Yes, Shane. The Prime Minister called me up and said that he was worried about your tweet to your giant following of 18,000 and said that he would pay me $1 million through a legal fund that was shut down years ago if I record with a handy cam 5 minutes of me laughing and reacting to a video that you also, coincidentally, made about me. But yes, that video in of itself wasn't the motivation to react to it. It was Albanese calling about a tweet. Holy fuck. But wait, there's more, because basically immediately after whinging about being baselessly called a corrupt pedo online, he says this.
Kevin Rudd has ties to Jeffrey Epstein, as reported by the Sydney Morning Herald on the 28th of October 2020 in an article titled Rudd Backs Friendly Geordies, a serious broadcaster, despite controversial acts. The article names Kevin Rudd, Jordan Shanks and Jeffrey Epstein. And my question is, given Jordan Shanks has interviewed Kevin Rudd many times, can you advise in which video Jordan Shanks has questioned Kevin Rudd about his relationship with Epstein? If not, why not?
There's the reason wwhy one-hit wonder Shane really wants to hammer Kevin Rudd. Play your one and only greatest smash hit, Shane. Every politician I don't like comes to kids. Yeah, he's repackaging a lazy Fairfax/Murdoch hit on Rudd and trying to now tie it to me. But like the original journalism Shane is relying on to make this conspiratorial journalism, it isn't even good. Rudd's connections to Epstein are virtually non-existent. This is the original story tying Rudd to Epstein. A think tank that Rudd was on the board of got a donation from Epstein. As soon as Rudd found out about the donation, he made the think tank donate the same amount of money to charity. Again, let me do some foreshadowing, Shane. You better not take any donations on your website. But to get that context, Shane would have to do something he's incapable of doing. Read. Sorry, he can read. It's just he can't comprehend what he's reading. If you put a word next to another word, that's good enough for a conspiracy in Shane's books. Shane's at the point where he's so conspiratorial, he'll reflexively fall for the opposite of the conspiracy.
Oswald killed JFK. Pretty obvious, because look, here's an article with both JFK and Oswald named in it.
Anyway, this video basically goes on and on about the same thing, asking about the Wombat Trust that I set up to help lawyers do pro bono environmental legal challenges. He wants to know where the money I raised for that's gone. Where I said it'd go. It's in a legal trust. Honestly, he's like a dog. No object permanence. I hide the ball behind my back, and all of a sudden,
oh, where's your ball? You've either stolen or given it to corrupt pedos. Which one is it? I expect an answer by 5 p.m.
Don't worry, you'll hear more about the Wombat Trust soon, but priorities, ladies and gentlemen, because this video wasn't enough. He made a third about my defamation case with Barilaro. This one's probably the most annoying, like an actually illiterate man running through a legal case he wasn't a part of, that was shut away from the public. So how the fuck would he know anything about it, accusing me of lying about this same legal case that ate up like 3 years of my life? But I'll address a few things because they are funny.
Jordan Shanks, aka Friendly Geordies, tells a big lie about him having a big win over John Barilaro in the defamation matter, when the reality is he had a big loss and John Barilaro had a big win. Now, Friendly Geordies didn't actually lose himself. He walked away with a lot of money. My estimate is somewhere between $1 to $2 million, maybe even $3 million, because he did a settlement, sang like a canary and threw Google under a bus. Now, I'm about to show you 20 seconds of a video from last year, November last year, in a video Jordan Shanks published titled Exposing the Lawyers Who Threaten Me, where he's exposing dodgy lawyers, as he implies, who are overcharging, or implies they're overcharging. But here's Jordan Shanks starting off the video with a big fat lie. Now let's watch it.
I've lost count of the amount of times I've been threatened to be sued for defamation over the 10 years I've done this YouTube channel. Out of the countless defamation threats, the only person that was stupid enough to go through with it was John Barilaro. And soon after initiating proceedings, he had to quit his job as Deputy Premier, apparently because of the stress of it. And even then, he settled with me for nothing. I never got taken to trial. So don't get me wrong, we've been taken to court a bunch, but that was for actual prosecutions. No one has ever got me inside a courtroom for a defo trial.
Now, Jordan Shanks says he paid John Barilaro nothing, and no one's ever got him in the court for defamation. But Jordan Shanks did pay John Barilaro $100,000 as part of his settlement, and then sang like a canary, which had the effect of throwing Google under a bus, who ultimately paid John Barilaro over $700,000. So even the video where Jordan Shanks points to the article where it says, oh, I didn't have to pay any damages, well, in that same article it says he's got to pay $100,000 in costs.
Fuck. You're so dumb. You contradict yourself in that very sentence.
Shanks says he doesn't have to pay any damages. In the same article, it says he has to pay $100,000 in costs.
Do you know the difference between costs and damages, you fucking retard? It's a concept so simple, I don't think I even have to explain it to my audience, as they're literate and can deduce the different sounds in those words. But just in case, I'll spell it out for you, Shane Down syndrome. Sorry, that's very slack to people with Down syndrome. Costs are the costs for lawyers, the legal costs induced while running a case. Damages is the money that may be awarded when someone theoretically wins a case. John Barilaro did not win against me, ergo, I paid no damages. He got no money from me, none. On the other hand, I paid costs for the actions that I brought and lost to get some of John's claims struck out, as I wouldn't have been able to present evidence in court due to John being protected by parliamentary privilege. I lost that action, So I paid costs. No wonder you think every court is a kangaroo court, Shane. Because when you go to park your car and you have to pay, you probably think,
I'm already being fined and found guilty, and I haven't even gone to court yet.
And the settlement with Jordan Shanks at the time, it seemed okay. Jordan Shanks was meant to give evidence on behalf of Google because that was still going forward, that lawsuit. But at the end of the day, looking back in hindsight, Jordan Shanks threw Google under a bus because once he settled and apologised, well, Google had nowhere to go. They were always going to have to settle because they read out the apology in court before the same judge.
Shane, that's not what happened. You were not party to the mediation. You were not there. You have no basis to say I threw Google under the bus, but even then, if you just read more of what was publicly available, you'd know that my apology was just for hurt feelings. It didn't fuck Google up. Google were raring to fight Barilaro for months, and then, very, very mysteriously, just before they were set to fight it in court, they switched their lawyers and conceded a bunch of stuff that made their case unwinnable, and in a way, threw me under the bus, as I was kind of denied procedural fairness, as a bunch of shit was then being thrown at me in a courtroom that I wasn't in, so I couldn't counter it, which means 3 years on, idiots like you can come up with spurious claims and conspiracy theories like I left Google with no legs to stand on. I can't say much more about it, but many people around this case find those circumstances unbelievably bizarre, and it's worth noting that this entire case happened at the same time Google was in negotiations with the coalition around the News Media Bargaining Code. Oh, wait, sorry, you already kind of know this. In fact, back when Google paid out Barilaro, when you liked me, you admitted almost as much.
What Friendly Geordies was thinking at the time, or would have been thinking, is that the lawsuit against Google was still afoot and John Barilaro continued to sue them. And apparently Google told Friendly Geordies, hey, we're going to defend this. And they were going to call Jordan Shanks, who is Friendly Geordies, they were going to call him as a witness. So Friendly Geordies would have been thinking, why pay two sets of lawyers to defend one action, in effect? So they've settled. And they'd raised $1 million, and so they settled for $100,000. But then for some reason, and I think someone has called in a favour from Google myself, but for some reason Google in effect said, no, we're not going to defend it. And they made an admission that the videos were defamatory. So how do they go from being, hey, we're going to defend it, to, oh no, they are defamatory and we'll just wear whatever hit we get, in effect? I think someone's called in a favour from Google. Google are a political player nowadays. They're forced by the federal government to pay Australian media companies money for their articles, etc.
Shane, you are so dishonest to your audience to completely change your view on the material facts of a situation because you think a video I made was aimed at you that wasn't, because you're so irrelevant that I forgot you even exist. Just know that's what informs Shane's allegations of corruption if he personally likes or dislikes an entity, and that can reverse on a dime. He's the hero we need. Case in point, keep watching that same video. In typical Shane fashion, it goes off the fucking rails to defend me, a YouTuber he liked at the time. He baselessly accuses the judge in my case, Stephen Rares, of, oh, can you guess? It's really left a feel for Shane being corrupt.
Well, quickly on old Stephen Rares before we move on. I wrote a book in 2009. Old Steve has got his own chapter. Love Letters from the Bar Table. Chapter 5, Stephen Rares. You can read up about his corruption from 2009. He's rotten to the core.
Now, obviously, I'm no fan of Rares. I think he was senile and made up his mind based on vibes before the Barilaro case even began. And on a fundamental level, you just shouldn't have a judge who has to ask, what's tagging, to decide a case about social media. And I think perhaps certain events regarding my house might have severely undermined the legitimacy of his judgment, but there's no evidence to suggest that he's corrupt. And now perhaps Shane agrees because he hates me more and is instead saying,
The reality was, when Jordan Shanks settled, it was game over for Google. Because when Jordan Shanks settled, his barrister apologised in the face of the court to the same judge who was hearing the Google matter. So he admitted guilt, in effect. And Google was going to have nowhere to hide over that one.
again, in typical Shane fashion, getting very simple legal concepts wrong. There's no such thing as guilt in a civil court, mate, and my apology had no concessions on the material facts. It was an apology you give your girlfriend when you want to stop fighting. It was a, I'm sorry I hurt your feelings, John. Just like the apology I'm going to give you now. I'm sorry for hurting your feelings, for accurately accusing you of keeping children in your basement.
And it says no one's ever got him in court for defamation. Well, that's bullshit. That's a lie. Jordan Shanks' own barrister apologised in the face of the court.
It's just too easy with Shane. I really am dealing with someone with zero comprehension skills. I said I never got taken to trial. Not that I've never set foot in a courtroom, Shane. How could you play a clip and then seconds later forget what I said? I never got taken to trial.
Jordan Shanks is a major league grifter. He's a fraudster. He's a conman. He continually tells lies. He lied only last year trying to make out that he had a big win over John Barilaro, and John Barilaro was a big loser. John Barilaro had a huge win. But so Jordan, really, at the end of the day, because he managed to grift $1 million or more and do the boogaloo with it. he won't answer questions of where the money's gone, and neither will his lawyers because they know they've done a runner with it.
There you have it. Truly the kangaroo court of journalism, kangaroo court of Australia. No way of escaping Shane's wrath by presenting the facts. Once he's made up his mind, you're corrupt for life. Now, normally I do something charitable at the end of a longish video like this to raise funds for, say, the Wombat Trust, or even more urgent, a fundraiser to get Shane speech therapy. But I've actually come across some very concerning information. Look, I somehow came across this invoice for a donation and a t-shirt that went to Shane Dowling's web store. Look who it's from, John Corrupt Pedophile. This now means that we have irrefutable evidence that Shane Dowling does in fact take money from corrupt pedophiles. I'm not going to say how I got this info, just trust I'm an impeccable investigative journalist. Wait till Reddit hears about this. You think you've got it bad now, Shane? They'll be making posts that you can't get removed for weeks no matter how much you threaten them. Now, since I did you the courtesy of answering your questions, Shane, I await your response.
Are you going to tell the people where this corrupt pedo money went? How much corrupt pedo money have you taken? Why did you accept this corrupt pedo money?
Like and subscribe, and donate to my Patreon if you're a corrupt Labor pedo. No, but seriously, do chuck us a couple of bucks a month for this one. We decided not to monetize this video because it might have been funnier if we didn't censor every second word. I do need that money to pay my staff after the $1 million I raised before was kept in a mattress in my house and that burnt down. Oops.